We have an exciting, about an hour to go here. We're going to talk a little bit about Crackdown 3. It's going to be a little bit of a loosey-goosey kind of event here because we want to do some Q&A later on. You'll be able to ask Terry some questions. Really excited to, of course, ask any of our other panelists questions as well. But why don't we go through? Do you want to introduce the panelists first? First, we have Clint Bundrick, who's the design director for Xbox. Clint, why don't you say hello?
Hello, everyone.
There's Clint right here. Sitting next to him is Jon Goff, the writer, Destiny, Halo, Spawn. John, good to see you, buddy. Followed by Mr. Dave Johnson, who's the art director. Look at that list of titles he's worked on. Woo! And then, of course, man needing no introduction, Mr. Terry Crews. We're so excited to have you.
I heard a peck. I heard something.
We're really excited to have you guys on the panel, and more importantly, everybody here, because this is unlike a lot of the other things that happen nowadays. This is not streamed, so this is all happening right here. So don't stream it because we're not allowed to. But we're really excited to have this event for you guys and kind of talk through. Now we're gonna kick things off with the trailer, right? All right. So for those of you that don't know, or maybe you missed the E3 trailer at E3 last month, we're gonna remind you about this is the Crackdown trailer that we showed at E3. So why don't we go ahead and roll that right now?
Motherfucker. They killed the power around the world. We're gonna light it back up because this is far from over. In fact, it's only just begun. That's why we brought in you. You got the talent. Now you need the tech. Big things too far! Today, you throw grenades. Boom! Tomorrow, you'll be throwing cars. Ah! Forget dropping bombs. You're dropping buildings. Now it's time to get to work. Time to step up your boom. Oh, that's my cue. It's go time. Yeah, son. Oh yeah. Welcome to the agency.
Determination to conquer all my ambitions. Made it to this position, and so my disposition. Not seeing no limits, killing the competition. Yeah, I'm a beast. Now I'm a least. Ready to feast, calm and peace, not least. I think that I'm number one, just to keep it 100. 0 to 100. So you have a opponent. Are you a beast? Are you a least? You ready to feast, or do you a beast, not the least? Do you think you're number one? Can you keep it 100? 0 to 100. Show me how to want it. Some people never have trouble. That's why they don't know what the struggle is. I don't pay the cost, and they know the boss. Analyze my losses. Now I'm taking off. Yeah, I'm a beast. Now I'm a least. Ready to feast. Beast, not the least. I think that I'm number one, just to keep it 100. 0 to 100. So you have a opponent. Are you a beast? Are you a least? You ready to feast, or do you a beast, not the least? Do you think you're number one? Can you keep it 100? Are you a beast?
Now, I wanted to start out right off because the big thing in the room is Tara, I want to start with you and talk about your year of gaming because it's been incredible for you. What brought you into gaming?
Wow, it's absolutely incredible. First of all, I was watching my son on a computer, and he was, playing video games, I thought. And he was actually watching people play video games. And he was like, oh, this is this certain gamer, and he's amazing, and I was like, wait a minute, you're not playing? Like, what's the deal? And I have a very busy life and the whole thing, and I started to realize that I said, I don't know what he's doing. Like, I should know this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it scared me. And I said, I have to be more involved with what he's doing. You know, and my generation, it was always like, you know, take your kid to work day, and your dad was always like, you doing what I'm doing. I don't care what you doing. So, but I said, I'm going to reverse this. I have to get involved in his life. And what was wild is that I said, you know, I need to understand what this world is all about. So I decided we were going to build a computer together. I am going to get into this and understand.
There we go.
What you were doing. So we built a PC.
Now, you and I were talking backstage earlier. We grew up around the same time, you know, hanging out in arcades. And so building computers is something that's an amazing father and son bonding experience that you found out, right?
Oh, amazing.
Now, what when you went into it, you're like, all right, I want to build a computer. You just kind of opened up a web browser and started cruising. And how did you get there? And how did you teach yourself what to do?
Well, it was wild because I remember doing E3 2 years ago, and we were doing the Battlefield. We were doing the Battlefield, and that's when I saw the potential. Like, I was like, this is crazy. Like the level of graphics and all this stuff. And I said, okay, and I got with another guy who was there, and I said, what are the things I need to do? And he gave me a list of all these tutorials.
Yeah.
And then I went and got all the stuff and went step by step, all the tutorials. Isaiah and I just started getting all the things together that we needed. And then with the wonder that is Facebook Live, I decided to like have everyone in the world help me.
Which could be a good thing or a bad thing.
Oh, it was bad. I was like, where does this cord go, man? Where does it go? Because, you know, it's 2 in the morning. You're like, what in the world? I don't know what to do. And
Terry just smashing computers.
yeah. No, I was very close to that. I was very close. It was so frustrating. But let me tell you the magic. It was a magic moment. And it was kind of weird because my son was right there. And it was done. Like, we were like, we're officially done. And I pressed the button to turn it on, and it didn't go on.
All been there.
It didn't turn on. I was like, ah. That's when I was going to break the whole thing. My son was about to watch Crackdown my computer. Okay? And so it was nuts. I said, okay, what do I do? What do I do? And literally, this is not a plug, but it was like almost like 9 o'clock. It was almost like 9 o'clock at night. I grabbed it, ran to Best Buy, local Best Buy, and I was like, and I grabbed the computer, put it up on their little Genius bar, whatever they call it, like, turn this thing on, it won't turn on. And they're like, dude, Terry Crews is in here. I was like, yeah, you get your pictures later. Come on, man. And so, you know what? He plugs it all in. He's like, everything, all the analytics are right, everything good. And then I found out I pushed the wrong button.
No!
That was it. I pushed the wrong button. But after that, oh my God, it's like, it's been a whole new world. It's actually the future of entertainment. Gaming is, I see no difference between any kind of major movie franchise and the game franchises. Everything is coming together. And let me tell you, I was talking about backstage about this, but to be honest, not to be morbid here, but I really see a future where actors are going to be motion captured and getting all those things together so that they can perform in films after they've passed away.
Right.
It is my dream to be in movies and in media and in games 100 years after I'm gone. And that is the truth. And I think that's going to happen. This kind of thing is happening right now.
All right, Terry, I want to talk about, you play Commander Jaxon in Crackdown 3.
Yes.
I want to talk about getting ready for that role. And John and Dave, I want to see if you guys might be able to set us up with that character and how you kind of took the character on paper and worked with Terry to bring him to life.
So you see Terry on TV, right? And you see him in films, and he's big. I don't know if you guys know this, he's big. And then you see him up close, and it's staggering. We got there the first day to do the live-action shoot, and I think you see it in the shot on the right. He's got a pad on his arm, on his left forearm, screen right. Where like we can't see enough of his muscles, and if we hired Terry Crews, we need to see the gun, right? And so we get somebody up there, and they methodically like cut that thing off, and it takes a while. And when she got done, Terry was like, "Is this better for you guys?" And we're like, "Yeah, that's cool." And he was like, "All right, sun's out, guns out," and he flexed, and the dude's arm is bigger than my head. And you see that up close, and you're like, we're going to have to make a different suit. Because what he has right now, this suit is about a level 3 in our game. And we term the phrase, Terry's a level 6 agent. So
Yeah.
he is bigger and badder than anything else we've got
I
in
think
the
the
game,
level
so-
should just be the cruise level.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? 1, 2, 3, 5 cruise.
Yeah. The guy was detonating this suit when we were filming. I mean, he was absolutely destroying the suit. He would just
we were pasting it back. We kept putting it
accidental too. He would just like go to flex or something, and the hood would pop up on the suit, like just completely cover his face. And they'd run in and like push it back down again and tape it all back up, and he'd try it again. I've never blown anything out with my physicality, other than like maybe a cummerbund at a wedding, like nothing.
After
even
the
close to
meal.
that. And by the end, that suit was just wrecked. So.
Now we've actually got some video up here of this is you preparing for the mocap, and can we roll the video because I want to show some of the video. There we go.
And action.
These sons of bitches want to black out the world? Not on our watch! We are the goddamn agency! And the agency means justice! By any means necessary! Okay.
And cut.
I gotta say this. The phrase "take things too far." That's my acting class. That's all. That's the Terry Crews acting 101.
Now, Terry, I want to talk to you about this motion capture because here you are, you're surrounded by a bunch of technology. You're not really, you've got a couple of folks around you, but you really don't have the other principal actors to play with like you've done in some of your motion pictures.
Yeah, this is the whole new deal. I mean, there were no props. I mean, as little as the props could be, it's a stick, and that's a gun. Or,
Imagine it's make believe.
It's all make believe, but thank God, the fantasy element on Terry Crews is a plus 100. Okay, because I could feel what was happening, and I always say I was made for this kind of thing because I've always seen things that haven't been made yet. And
Right.
My deal is to imagine it. And what's so wonderful is that it's better than I imagined. When I saw everything coming to life and actually being made and actually coming and moving and everything, when it actually eclipsed what you had in your head, that's when you know you're on the right path.
Now we've got, I guess this is the first time we're going to see this, right? This is the character reveal video.
Yep.
So you are going to see for the very first time Terry's character. So let's go. We got a little video here. Go ahead and roll that.
We're here to light shit up.
Your first step in digital immortality, right there in
That's
Crackdown 3.
That's it, man.
That's pretty incredible. Now we saw a little bit of what you're talking about, where you had to take the things off of his arms to see some of the guns. So it was. Tell me about that and designing the character for Terry and having Terry fit into the character a little bit.
Yeah, again, I mean, I think so. The Crackdown agents are larger than life anyway. They are huge and they are fast and they can jump over buildings. And when we were making the suits for them, when we were designing the suits, we knew they had to feel like they were from a milled technology. This was every thought was put into every detail of these suits because these are the best of the best, the agents of the world. They're taking on things nobody else wants to take on. So as you can see on the screen here, when it came to Terry, we asked ourselves, well, what would a commander look like from that? Because we've already got, at this point in the development process, we already had a level 5 suit. We knew what our agents level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 looked like. So what did it mean to be a level 6? And so we started to basically look at sort of some of the brass and some of the adornments that land on commanders in this day and age. And then we started adding pieces of tech to Terry. We've got something in our game called Lens. It's a holographic projection system, and you can see Terry's got some additional adornments that none of the other agents have access to. This allows him to communicate with people that nobody else has access to, and we can kind of reveal more of that as we get closer or when you play the game. But the point is, Terry's special. He is the daddy duck, as you can see on his arm there. And that also comes into play in a big way. So we just wanted to make it special. And then, I don't know if you want to talk about the fact that your name is Isaiah Jaxon.
Yes, it's named after my son, Isaiah,
Yeah.
who inspired this whole thing. It's awesome.
So we just wanted to, there were two things, right? We wanted to make it look deliberate and badass, and we wanted to show off Terry's arms. Those are really the two things we set out to do.
And I think you've accomplished both.
Right.
Do you agree? I want to, before we get going, I mean, Terry, it's great to have you on the Crackdown team, but I want to give a shout out because the person whose idea isn't up here, right?
That's right.
The person whose idea to bring you onto the Crackdown team is right over there. Yeah. Nicole.
Stand up, Nicole.
It was Nicole's idea to work with Terry, so I want to thank you, Nicole.
Thank you, Nicole.
All right, so Nicole, we've got this incredible badass character. Let's talk about the story of the game, guys. So I don't know who wants to take that one, but let's set up the story of the game. Certainly, a lot of the room has played Crackdown 1 and 2, so talk, how does it fit into that universe?
Crackdown 3 basically kicks off about a decade plus after Crackdown 2. There's been a series of global blackout events that the agency has traced to this island, New Providence, and a corporation named Terra Nova. And they send in their agency strike team to go in and investigate / kick ass and uncover that this corporation isn't just a corporation. It's a series of incredibly vile and violent villains that then you have to then go up against and kind of take apart piece by piece as you unravel their larger motivations and their bigger plans for quote-unquote world domination. So.
Yeah, and Crackdown 3 is a true open-world game. The entire city is available to you from the beginning. All of our villains, they have a place in the world. They have things that they care about. They have personalities. And the player's ultimate goal is to dismantle this hierarchy. But part of that is figuring out who these characters are and where they are in the world. And you go through this process of attacking those things and pissing them off, and as you piss them off, they actually escalate and they add to their defenses and they make the world more dangerous for you. And eventually then they start to send out what we call retaliations, and these can happen anywhere. Again, this is a completely open world game, so these fights are dynamic. You can have a fight on a rooftop that I never saw because that's where you were when you happened to piss that character off. Eventually you go through that loop, you do enough to actually pull those characters into play, and then you have these dynamic boss fights that can happen anywhere. And we've always talked about Crackdown's a game where we don't slow the player down, we don't stop you and show you a cutscene, so we needed a way for the story to follow you. We wanted to bring these characters into the world and make sure that they got some screen time and you felt like this was a character you understood their motivations, and by the end of it you were really looking forward to getting to fight them and hit them in the face with a fuel truck or however else you wanted to take them out. And we do that through a system called Feed Jacks. So Feed Jacks allows these characters to actually kind of hack into the environment, and their heads will project off of buildings and follow you and look at you and communicate with you. And it's a way where whether you're climbing the tallest building in the world or running through the streets carrying a car to smash somebody with it, these characters can suddenly come into the world and the story has a way of following you.
Sounds creepy. My face on the side of the building.
Yeah, it's wildly intimidating.
It's also like, especially early on, right? Because you're just testing out the technology.
Right.
You're just getting things in, and they're all placeholder, and then it's like a weird horror game.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think we're marketing as a Crackdown the horror game, are we? Now we have a new character we're going to talk about today. Is that right, gentlemen?
Yeah.
Yeah, Echo. We've got Echo. So you're all familiar. Oh.
Go ahead and tell us a little bit about Echo here.
With the VOA, he's been the voice in your ear in Crackdown 1 and 2. He's still around, and he's the tactical kind of big bombastic guy driving you forward to kick more ass and cause more destruction. And Echo is the new voice in your ear, and she's the woman on the street. She's the one that's giving you the dirt on these POSs that you're taking apart as you're going through New Providence. She's been there. She's kind of your first contact on the island, and she's your new best friend in Justice.
So we're going to hear, of course, we're going to have the voice of the agency, which is well known from back, but we're going to introduce a different style and texture here. And how will the two work together? She is the person that's giving you kind of the in the moment, in the world info and leading you forward and pushing you into discovering more about these villains, and then the VOA is the one giving you the tactical response on how to tear these people apart, and the VOA style encouragement, that bigger than life kind of rah ass kick, boom 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 boom. Yeah. We actually, just so you guys know, we're going to be doing Q&A in a few minutes, so we'll be doing that in the center. Also, we have been handing out. Make sure you get yourself a little ticket here. We're going to tell you where to go later so you can get one of those limited edition the posters that I tweeted out a little earlier. So check that out. Terry, I want to talk about your prep for this role. It feels like we wrote the role for you. Did you go back and look at the original Crackdown and Crackdown 2 and tell me about that?
Yes, I did. But again, what was so wild is that the game fit my personality so well. As you see, like I said, it's about big. I mean, you're picking up cars and you're destroying buildings and you're doing this kind of damage, this level of damage. And it was one of those things where I did want to bring, like you said, level 6 to this thing. I never wanted to be a part of a game that I couldn't improve. To me, it was more important to serve the purposes of the creators than it to be something that, oh yeah, this Terry Crews show. And I never was interested in that because I am a fan first. It's wild because it's like, Comic-Con was made for me because I am a huge consumer of media. And to me, it was more important that the vision be fulfilled. This is why it was an absolute perfect match made in heaven. It's kind of like me and Old Spice, same thing. You know what I mean? And it worked out, and it worked out beyond belief. And to me, I was like, my God, this is, if I could try to even fantasize about a game that I would make for myself, it's this. This is what it is. Yeah. And I can't be more thankful to these guys on the panel and Nicole because we were talking about doing an ad at first, and I came to them and I said, I have to be in this game somehow, please. And they were like, really? And let me tell you, the fact that we're standing here right now is a testament to them and just, they're like, dude, let's do it. Let's go. And, when you have two people who basically are like, they want to do something together, let's make it happen, there's nothing that's going to stop it. And I'm very, very honored because these are the best in the biz.
Dave, I want to ask you this question because, working on the from your perspective, when Nicole or someone comes and says, hey, we got Terry Crews, what does that mean to you as you're working on the game?
I mean, it means a lot of things. I'll say this. We some of this will come out in the game. Some of it you'll probably never see. But we asked Terry to do some weird shit. And in every single case, he was good with it. He absolutely smiled and said, I will do it. And some of those things, like I say, you'll see. And some of those things I think we'll use later. If we need another favor from Terry, we might call one of those in. But
they'll be released in 100 years.
That's right.
The next game will be Blackmail. Blackmail 3.
But I think, listen, like I say, everybody knows Terry, and everybody knows that Terry is larger than life. And when Nicole came to me and said, hey, I've been thinking a lot about who could actually represent an agent in the real world, and she said Terry, I was like, that's amazing. You're never going to get Terry Crews, but that's amazing. Run with that, chase it, let's see what happens kind of thing. And now I'm sitting next to Terry Crews. So Nicole did something right. I mean, it was pretty crazy.
Nicole!
Yeah, and right now she's sitting over there pointing her finger at me and saying, I told you so.
And there was part of on the mechanics side as well, as we're looking at our weapons and equipment. We're like, what kind of things?
Talking to the mic. Talking to the mic.
What are the type of things that Terry Crews would use?
Right.
When we're designing our weapons and equipment. So we have a piece of equipment called the Matter Duplicator, which allows you to pick things up and scan them. And then suddenly, as you're jumping mid-air, you can kind of create the fuel truck you've scanned and throw it. And so do things
I'd do that.
We were like, this fits the character, it fits the tone, and Crackdown's such an over-the-top, explosive game. It was a perfect match.
I want to talk to you guys about the environment. We've spent a lot of time in Crackdown 1 and Crackdown 2. How is the environment similar to that? Obviously, we're going to have destructibility. Tell me about some of the work you've done to evolve the gameplay.
Well, I mean, it's an entirely new world. Crackdown 3 is a completely new world from the first, and it's a much more living world. There are moving platforms throughout the whole thing, and there's an entire complex monorail system, and there's just a lot of complexity there, not just in terms of size, but in terms of complexity compared to the first games. The first games were amazing, and it really felt like you were a superhero jumping through a giant open world, a city. We just wanted to give the players even more space to cover, and we wanted them to be able to, at a level 5, run at a full, whatever it is, I don't know their exact speed, but let's say 100 miles an hour just for fun, at 100 miles an hour and be able to jump over buildings without a lot of stuff really getting in their way. You can cover a lot of ground in this game quickly. And the other thing that you feel with this game is it feels like a living city. We were bound and determined to make sure we didn't make a city that felt like it was built within the last 2 years. This is a city that has history. It's been there for a long time, and it's sort of fallen under this scourge, and now you've got to sort of go in and take it out, and you see those markings throughout the world. So it's a rich environment.
Let's talk about the villains. We've talked about one side of it with Terry and the agency. Let's talk about some of the characters we're going to run up against as much as we can, of course.
Well, the key
Microphone.
is
Oh, yes, make sure you get the
key is we have Terry, bigger, larger than life, the physical and vocal embodiment of the agency and their brand of justice. So we then have to create these villains that are even bigger and louder and more bombastic on some level to equal the brand of justice you're bringing. Their threat needs to do that. And so what we've built with Terra Nova is a network of villains that all tie together and piece together and work together to film this larger whole. And then their story and who they are and where they work within this island and the larger scheme is unfolds as you are taking them apart piece by piece. You learn more about each one as you attack them, as they're yelling at you with feed jacks and the information they give you in those threats. There's also pieces of who they are in there, and so the world starts to evolve as you are blowing things up, as you are taking down their different infrastructures piece by piece and trying to take this island back from them. And the history they've built into the art is all part of the story too. Your whole understanding of the island and what the agency is doing here and who these people are evolves over the course of the game in this open world setting where you can go and do anything. So as you move through it and have your fun and kick all that ass, the story is kind of keeping up with you and leading you in places while also leaving breadcrumbs for you to go explore in other directions, high, low, in between. So
there's a lot of personalities that you've got in there to offset, not to offset, but to balance off, Terry.
It's a balance, yeah. They definitely don't offset, but it's a balance, and it's a handful of villains, and they all have their unique personalities, and they're all larger than life. Just bad guys you love to hate. That's our goal, is to make people that you want to punch in the face, and you want to punch them harder and harder the more you're having to deal with them, because they're going to punch back. Like, they don't just sit there and take it. Like, if you punch them, they're going to punch you twice. If you throw a truck at them, they might throw the equivalent of trucks at you. Like, you have to get your skills up, and you have to be prepared to take on their personalities and their infrastructure, because it's not meant to be easy. You're in a fight for your life.
Now you look at this very differently, because you've written for quite a few games, bad guys and good guys, right? Yeah. So you've written for Halo and Destiny and so forth. So when you're writing for bad guys and good guys, when you draw that line down the mental piece of paper, what are some of the core components that you look at for each side, or do you want to have them balance and echo each other? Can you tell me about that?
They want to echo each other, but they also want to, obviously, you want the conflict between each other, and you want what drives the good guy to, there's the echoes of that driving some of the bad guys, but there's other ones that are complete antithesis to that. And in a game like Crackdown, like our village, like the exploration is a character itself, the world is a character itself. So then putting on top of that these villains again that are just larger than life. I mean, I don't want to talk too much about them because we're going to start to reveal them.
Sure.
And so I don't want to keep echo the larger than life. But that's what they're meant to be. They're meant to be super villains, like the classic, a cadre of the classic Saturday morning cartoon villains. These characters that are memorable and add something, a flavor to the world, where when you're in their district, when you're fighting their forces, you're up against son of a bitch X, right? Because their personality is throughout that area and throughout their men and throughout what they've designed and built and created with their art to tell the story. It all kind of goes together.
Now, Terry, I want to bring it back to you a little bit. We saw your character here. We saw the Daddy Ducks. Can you explain the Daddy Ducks reference?
We can't. It's a spoiler.
Yeah, no, it is a spoiler.
You'll know when you play the game what it means, but right now we can't say much about it. Other than Terry is the Daddy Duck.
Okay. That's all we said.
But, I mean, that's obvious, right?
Now we got a great panel up here. There's the microphone. You have questions. Let's get up there. Let's go through just to level set a little bit. We're not talking about multiplayer today. We're talking only about single player, and of course Terry's involvement there. So go ahead. What's your name? Where you're from?
Hi, I'm Serena. I'm from Long Beach.
Hi there.
Wanted to know, are we finally gonna be able to play as a female agent?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes.
Quick and easy. Thank you. Next question. Hi. What's your name?
I am Ronan.
Hi, Rodden. Talk into the microphone so everyone can hear you.
I would like to know if the whole environment is going to be completely destructible, correct?
So that is our competitive multiplayer experience. In the campaign experience, you're there to save the city. In our competitive multiplayer, you're there to wreck it. And that's kind of how we ended up dividing it. There's quite a bit of prop-based destruction. You're throwing cars and they're exploding, and you're creating all that kind of chaos in the campaign experience. But all of those 100% destructible environments, that's our competitive multiplayer experience. We're going to be showing a lot more of that soon.
Thank you. Hi there.
Hi there. Jason Sayers from Cleveland.
Hi, Jason.
In a game like this, a big part of the allure is obviously the over-the-top nature. The big guns, the explosions,
the personalities.
breaking building, everything. I mean, that's a huge part of it. During the creative process, is there a point in which you say, that's too much and we have to scale back because it's just too out of hand?
So our methodology of going after Crackdown is we're always trying to push it way beyond that edge. I mean, I always joke that part of my job is to make our tech director cry. So that we're like, okay, that's too far, that's too crazy, and reel it in. But honestly, we're always just pushing that edge, and you kind of embrace that as a mentality as a team. And so everybody from weapons to encounters to who's designing the levels to the art, everything gets infused with that mentality, and it just makes a much better game. But we're constantly pushing that. Like that weapon I talked about where you can suddenly kind of create your own props was a thing that we pushed really hard for because we thought it was special. It gave players options and choices and gave this way of being this incredibly kind of over-the-top experience where you're suddenly on the top of the tallest building in the game and you can create a fuel truck in your hand and then jump off of it and fall and hit somebody in the face with it. And we're like, those are the moments that we feel like that's a big part of the Crackdown DNA, and so we're just always pushing that forward.
If anything, I'd say it's probably the most difficult thing for us has been pushing ourselves to go too far. I think you make a game and you just naturally sort of reserve yourself and you say like, oh, that explosion, that's way too big, it's going to be way too blown out, or come on, you can't really pick up a bus, that looks goofy, or whatever it might be. Early on, we adopted the phrase, subtlety is not our friend, and we apply that to every area of Crackdown that we can, and we use that as our razor to basically constantly compare to that and say like, is this too subtle? And if it is, we try and push it over the top.
Nice. And the same goes for the narrative in the VO. Like there's character beats in VO that we're never going to be able to record because we just push it. I've written some dark stuff and some big crazy things just to make sure that we're there. I don't know where the line is, but we go well beyond whatever that line is so that we can dial it back. Because if you're trying to hit the line, you're always going to self-edit and pull it back. So just go big and crazy and ridiculous, and then see how it works. And
then you end up with Terry Crews on the cast.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my acting school.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Hi there.
Hi, my name is Brian. I think we speak for everyone. Any chance of backwards compatibility for Crackdown 1 and 2?
Terry, you want to take this one?
Well, I can just say this is that
when you press the button.
when we have details to share about that, we certainly will.
All right, sounds
Thank
good.
you for asking. Okay. Hi there. Next question.
I was just curious, in whether it's post-game or New Game Plus or a skin, is Daddy Duck going to be a playable character at some point?
Terry Crews is a playable character, yes.
All right.
Yeah. Don't be playing with me wrong now. Don't play wrong with me. That's all I gotta say right now.
Hi there. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Terry
Hi,
from
Terry.
San Diego.
What's
I
up?
get mistaken for you a lot when I go out, you know. So my question is, so we see the big, strong Terry like all the time, but will we ever get to see that softer side of Terry?
Oh, you see the softer side.
Terry Crews, the story-based game.
I like kittens, and puppies, and long walks.
Is this where you yell no?
And then I throw a truck at your ass. You will see it. You'll see it. It's coming someday. That's another game, though. That's a whole other game.
All right, next question. Hi there.
Hi, I'm Nick from San Diego. I have a 6-month-old son, so I just want to say, Isaiah, it's an honor to be in the same room as you, man.
Yeah!
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really cool to bring that father-son aspect to this, but this is not a father-son question. I'm curious, can you describe like the first hour of your day? Is your like alarm clock a barbell and you're like, weights, eggs? Like, what's the first hour of your day like?
You know, I got to even go into this. I was talking about this backstage. It's crazy. You know, when I played 7 years in the NFL, and I learned a long time ago that you have to go in, and you have to go in now. Like, you know, if you're on an NFL kickoff, and the game is starting, they kick that thing, and you tiptoe down the field, you're going to get killed. Like, you are going to die. Someone is going to kill you. So I learned, you know, you get this, you know, this comes from college and pros and the whole thing, and you learn, and this is back when they had the wedge, so you had to run as fast as you could into the biggest, strongest people you've ever seen. And I've been concussed. I mean, I got knocked out on Monday Night Football. That's one of the reasons I think I'm crazy now. But I'm telling you this right now, it became a mantra for me. Go in. Don't hold back. Never hold back, because you don't know, tomorrow's not promised. You don't know. This might be the last time you ever get to do anything like this. So every project, everything, every day, every scene, I've taught myself and trained myself as if it was a kickoff. You go, and you go in, and usually you're okay. You know what I mean? The times when I see people get hurt is when they always held up, and when they always tried to play it safe, and when they always just dabbed around the pile, and all of a sudden someone rolls over and your knee's gone. I never got hurt in the NFL because I always went full speed. And I've taken that mantra to my career, to everything I do when I wake up. I mean, I tell you, my family's sick of it. They are. They really are. My wife will tell you, oh, God, please. But it becomes a thing where I don't know any other way to go. And I enjoy the energy, because what happens is you give energy, you get more energy. That's what's so crazy. You have it. And I tell you, and I feel your love. I feel the energy. This is why, again, being here with people who are just like me, except they're go all in what they do, and you're all in. Everybody's on kickoff. You want this to work. You don't know, because success is not an accident. It's not. It's all planned. Every bit of it is planned and prepared, and I'm here on the best team ever. So again, to answer your question, I'm all in, baby. Let's go.
Thanks, Thank you.
Sorry, that was long. I'm sorry.
That was good.
Now, I'm sorry, 1 second. Terry, I want to ask you, I didn't ask you this at the top of the show. What are you playing on your PC or Xbox right now?
Oh,
what kind of games you playing?
You know, my son and I, we were just talking about this. Player Unknown Battleground has been killer. It's killer. PUBG is nuts. It's like, you know, I watched my son get sniped the other day, and I was like, no! Isaiah! It's so fun because the pressure, you feel it all the time. Yeah. You're always like, you know, and the world starts closing in, and you know there are other people looking to take you out. It's paintball without the pain, you know what I mean? So right now, that has been my favorite game PUBG. At the moment. So that's what we're jamming.
That game is intense as hell as it is, and I can't imagine playing with Terry Crews on the headset. Like, this man is gonna kill me in real life if I don't give him cover right now.
All right, next question. Hi there, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Tim from Seattle. I work at Oculus, and we recently saw that Terry picked up a Rift and was pretty excited about it. I just wanted to hear what he and maybe you guys thought about the future of VR for games.
Oh, well, VR is, we have the Oculus, we have the Vive, we have the whole thing. You know, virtual reality is the future. Because first of all, we've been living in a virtual reality for 1 million years. You make your own world regardless, no matter what. Everyone has their own angle. Everyone sees what they want to see. You see what you believe. And I always feel like this is natural. This is actually the only way for entertainment to go. But I also see, another thing I see is it coming outside of the glasses. Right. You know what I mean? There's got to be a way to incorporate it without the claustrophobic feeling. I think that's just the only thing. And I think that you can actually have augmented reality which would be really cool. Like you'd be in this room, but all of a sudden there'll be a dinosaur sitting right there. You know what I mean? As you walk around, and actually you will be in a game as you walk around. But again, virtual reality is the future of entertainment, bar none.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next question. Hi there.
Hi, I'm Anthony from San Diego. Is there any other agents that are as ripped as Terry is? And when you level up, can they get to your level?
Next question. No, it's impossible. Next question.
So you can't surpass. Not possible.
So come on, look at me. Come on, man.
At least we can play as
3% body fat right here. I work so hard. My wife will tell you, she knows I work so hard.
Softer side right there.
Just a glimpse. Just a glimpse.
Hi there.
Hey guys, Cameron from San Francisco.
Hi.
It's Terry Crews. You know, it's funny. My friends always think I look like you. You know? More hair though, but you know.
they say you're handsome then, right?
Yeah, pretty much. But Terry Crews in the game, larger than life. I just want to know: is there a weapon in the game that's larger than life? And two, if so, is it called the Terry Crews?
Oh.
Come on, Mr. Design Director.
One of my favorite weapons in the game is called the Singularity Gun. So everything in Crackdown is physical. So for example, we have these monorail lines that run through the world that have monorail carriages on them, and you can actually shoot them off and pick them up and throw them. But because everything's physical, this black hole gun, it creates a black hole and it actually pulls in props and vehicles, and it'll pull monorail carriages off the lines, combines them, makes them explode, and then they go flying out. So that's one of my favorite weapons. We'll have a bunch of additional ones to talk about soon as well, but yes, I mean, in a game where everything is over the top, the character actions, you're jumping over skyscrapers, you're throwing fuel trucks, our weapons and equipment will live up to that as well.
I like it.
Hi, I'm Chris from Newark, New Jersey. Terry, I had a question. If you had a choice from anyone from the Expendable series to be your own personal enemy, who would you choose and why?
Wow, that's a good one. Who, my own personal enemy? My God, like who would turn on all of us? You know what? I gotta go with Arnold's character. Arnold. I mean, just because he would have beef with Barney, and you know what I mean. And then we just have to kill him. So that's the one. The Arnold character would be the one.
So you guys think that you could do that as a DLC in the future?
Hey, listen, it costs enough to get Terry Crews. We can't afford Arnold.
All right, next question.
I'm Chris. I'm from the Bronx, New York.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to say one thing. One time, like, my girlfriend was working, and then she turned over, and you almost knocked her over one time. I told her that was probably one of the...
Where does she work?
She worked for Wolfgang Puck, so she, like, you know, does, like, catering events, so it was, like, something in New York. But you almost knocked her over, and I told her that was probably the most greatest thing that's probably ever happened to her.
I'm sorry. No, I step on my own kids all the time, man. They tell you. They're always crying. I'm like, what you crying for? You stepped on me.
I just thought it was amazing. But my question is, it's two questions. One is with all the events that happen in Crackdown 1 and 2, I know it's an entirely different world, but it's still the agency. With the virus that went on in 2 and then in 1 with all the gangs, will we see any mention of that? And also, is Terry Crews going to be a part of any future installments of any future Crackdowns?
That's a good question.
Yeah, everything that happened in Crackdown 1 and Crackdown 2 is part of this universe, and that will all be explored in the game. But the main focus is what you're doing on this island and how that stuff ties into the state of the world. It's all connected.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
As for future Terry, I'll get you Nicole's email address.
Look, I did 3 Expendables. I ain't going nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to tell you, I'm a sequel king.
All right, we got a last question. We're going to wrap things up here. Hi there. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Corey Green from Chicago, Illinois.
All right.
Two things really quickly. Terry, I watched your videos on YouTube on how you got into gaming. I thought that was really cool. And I'm not a parent, but if I ever became one, you're the prototype I'm going to look for if I ever had a son who got into gaming.
Thank you.
one quick question for all you guys. What was the biggest challenge of Crackdown 3 and taking it to the next level to make it how it is today?
When you think about open world game design, and you think, open world missions and things like that, in a Crackdown game, all of our missions are running simultaneously because the mission is to dismantle these villains that you love to hate. So for us, one of the biggest things we wanted to do was to give them not only more character but more purpose in the world, and to feel like you were building these relationships with them as you played through. And so we do that through our Gangs Bite Back system. So as you piss them off, they change the things around the world. They add defenses, they add additional patrols, suddenly turrets become active, and then you continue to piss them off, and then suddenly things are falling from the sky on top of you, and those are their big retaliation moments. And then you continue to piss them off, and you finally have them so raging mad that they come after you personally.
Yeah, I'm good at pissing off bad guys. That's good.
Yeah. And we wanted them to be able to react in really unique ways. One of our goals with the game was to feel like every playthrough was different, that your experience dismantling Terra Nova was completely different than mine based on how you leveled your character and the order in which you attacked that hierarchy and what skills you used to do it, and all of those things made it so that you felt like your playthrough was very personal, and that was a big part of the goal for us.
Okay, because I played the first one. I used to do was take the bad guy leaders, go to the top of the tallest building, and throw their leader off the top of that building. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. All right, gang, we're going to wrap things up here because the panel here has a bunch of stuff to do. I know you guys have a busy day. It's Saturday. Want to thank you for coming. Want to make sure that those tickets that we handed out, you'll be able to get one of the Crackdown Art Series, a limited edition. That's the one on the left-hand side there with Mr. Cruz. So there you go. They're quite beautiful. And then these other ones were going to be are some of the limited edition later on this year. So thank you very much. All right, gang, we're going to let you go. Thank you to my panelists. Thank you to Mr. Cruz. And thank you to you,
everybody. Thank
for joining us today.
Thank you.
Quick reminder, Crackdown 3 is out on Xbox on November 7th, 2017. Thank you, everybody.